Hey everyone, my name is Blue and we are back with a crazy ProRevenge story. If revenge is a dish best served cold, then this is just straight up ice. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to our channel. And with that, let's get into it. Lay off a third of the team and expect us to work harder? We will see about that. So, this happened sometime in the 2010s, somewhere in the UK. That's all I'm revealing. I worked for a medium-sized PLC in a small team that worked with the sales department getting quotes. I had previously worked in another team in a different department in the same company as well. This also includes elements of malicious compliance. I'll post this there as well. So to set the scene, the company had recently had some issues with regulators, and senior management were either oblivious to the damage they were doing or didn't care. They were trying to save costs, but going about it all the wrong way. So my team consists of 6 team members and a manager. We were fairly busy and often helped out on other teams as well, and they would in turn help us. This is important for later. So we are all called into a meeting without warning and told that due to declining work tickets, they were laying 2 of us off. They did say 2 people were safe, the manager and his sidekick. They made us reapply for our jobs, including doing a test, following the letter of the law on redundancy, which had nothing to do with our roles. It also became apparent during the process that the company flat out lied or, at the very minimum, manipulated the data used to come up with their conclusion of falling ticket numbers. They dropped by 13 from year 1 to year 3. Bear in mind, it was a total of several thousand tickets a year. In the end, the company carried on and 2 team members were removed and made redundant, one of whom took a golden handshake. The other sued the company for various things, not really worthy of mention here, and won. After the dust settled, it also became apparent manager secured his sidekick's position despite him being the worst member of the team in terms of work done and work quality. So in the weeks after, the entire team were too busy to help other teams, who then stopped helping us. So a huge backlog of tickets also built up. We also got threatened with disciplinary proceedings if our backlog didn't come down, but was also refused any overtime. During the process, we had also been admonished for skipping steps in getting quotes, steps that often took a significant amount of time and served no purpose. So me and 2 others remaining, not including Sidekick, who had his nose so far up manager's rear end, it came out his mouth, decided to do everything by the book, down to every last bullet point. This made the backlog of work even worse. But they couldn't say anything. One week, we had another meeting with HR, the sales director, and our manager to discuss the issues. We all calmly said, "We're sorry, but we have to follow the guidelines and rules laid down, and this is as fast as we can work." We were also asked to start helping out the other teams again, as we should be team players. Again, we said, "We are sorry, but we can't. Our workload is too high, and it's also not in our contracts that we have to do the other team's work." This went on for several months, and management still refused to believe we were overworked. When it was time for holidays, we realized they hadn't changed the amount of people allowed off from 3. So we all booked holidays. They both went abroad, and I decided to visit family the other end of the UK. Of course, when manager realized, a week before, he went nuts, and another meeting with HR was called. We all calmly said, "Sorry, but we checked the rules for our team and 3 people, out of 4, manager could do what he likes, can be off at any one time." And again, stood our ground and all went on leave for 2 weeks each. This caused even more chaos at work, as you can imagine. The sales director, after this, hatched a plan to get the Indian teams, we had offices in India and other offshore places, to be trained up by us and to help us. However, they demanded we fly out to spend weeks there training them. Again, we all refused as it's not in our contracts to be trainers or to have to work abroad. They ignored the fact that I didn't have a passport at this point. So, poor old manager and his sidekick traveled out and trained them for weeks. Eventually, both stayed for over 2 months and failed to train them. We would send low-effort tickets to them, and they would screw it up. And we simply said, "Sorry, to fix this, we need to do it again." So, after 6 months, they gave that idea up entirely. After around a year or so of this, I'm being deliberately vague on timing, so please don't ask about it. We all decided to all seek other employment, having found we all could not trust the company or manager anymore. And we all found roles elsewhere within a week of each other, so all handed our 4 weeks notices, again to the letter of our employment contracts, and were due to all leave on the same day. Now, the female member of the team who was a very learned person, and she revealed in all our contracts, any documentation we create is ours, and we can do with it how we wish when we leave. So we hatch a plan. In the final week we are there, we move all our digital stuff to one location, including all my manuals and cheat sheets for my previous team. They both did the same with their previous positions within the company. On our final day, we bring in our own external drives and, with IT's help, download and removed all documentation and deleted the copies on the company systems. We all said our goodbyes, and at the end of the day, quite happily, told our manager what we had done. He exploded and demanded it back, and we calmly tell him, "Not according to the letter of our contracts, this," waving the drives at him, "is ours, and we choose to remove it with us." We were later told by friends who remained that the sales director had a fit because now no one was doing quotes for him. Gladly, we all have had great new places and keep in touch. So basically, this company takes shady measures just to be able to let some people go. And ultimately, our poster uses all of the rules in order to get back at them. Takes everything they needed to keep doing the job with him because, hey, that's in the contract. That's his right. It's crazy what ends up being in the contract of a company that can really come back to bite the people who wrote the contracts. Bosses should really be reading these contracts before letting people go or trying to screw them over, because it seems like it always comes back to bite them. And that's all the time we have for this crazy ProRevenge story. It's pretty much also malicious compliance, but elevated to absolute ProRevenge at the same time. If you liked the story, please make sure to click the like button on the video. If you have anything to say about the story, let us know in the comments down below. And if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to our channel so you don't miss any more of these stories. Thanks for listening. Catch you later, everyone.